shan ruux baan nahay xoolo abaartii baa la tagtay ma jiraan xoolo 10 sac iyo hayn soddona waxay raacaan hadana abaartii dawladda yaan u soo gurmanay baahi baan haysa dawladdan ku hoos jiraa waa sidoo waa nabad waa in wax naloo qabto yaan rabnaa hay'adda
hadda waxaan u imid meeshan waxaan u imid inaa macnaha nala caawiyo dadkii oo digaalaha ka soo qaxay oo rafaadsan raashin aanan haysanin waxa oo maanta lagu seexday iyo wax lagu karsana aanan haysanin dharna aanan haysanin awood wax ku iibsadana aan lahayn hay'adeena barakada leh inayna caawisan u baahannahay
mar hore may ku noolayeen inuu magaasha untada beledkuna ka haysayna giliya ka haysayna way had inta moos band iyo intay dibki shandaraw la aanni hayt way moos band iyo hunguru darini hayt way iyo biyogi unta oo dhusugi oo islaanka meeshi ka haro dhusugi biyaha ka daardo way dibka fiin qabno udurkaasna dhalo niigsheene way
ayo wala ma wax yar beerta waleena riyir waa oo tabar oo meeshan oo yar iskiga maatamato oo kor loo guur karno iska reer xaxaas waa.
The ICRC is one of the very few organizations able to work in Somalia, and at the same time we're looking at a humanitarian situation that is very concerning, especially after many years of armed violence, conflict in most parts of the country. Then we have seen that Somalia was struck by a severe drought, devastating floods last year. Where do you see the biggest needs of the Somali population today?
It's a bit difficult to answer because the needs are almost everywhere. Schools are not functioning, hospitals are hardly functioning, and the overall humanitarian situation is rather very difficult in Somalia, given the general environment. So the priorities lies a lot with the emergency that are arising from time to time in terms of trying to assist and to address the needs of the population displaced or by the conflict or by natural disasters such as the drought and the floods. To try to support the medical infrastructures, we're supporting 2 hospitals on a regular basis in Mogadishu, supporting more than 20 clinics from the Somali Red Crescent Society. We are supporting a lot the farmers in the riverine area, trying to help them to boost the food production there, and also giving quite a lot of support when it comes to helping the people to have a better access to water resources in Somalia that are very scarce in such an environment.
The ICRC has been working in Somalia for about 30 years and with a lot of experience in this country. What do you say is the biggest challenge when carrying out projects in Somalia?
The ICRC has been active and present in Somalia since 1977. So the organization has a very long-lasting experience. It is well known by the Somali population and is carrying out quite a huge operation, and we are very much anchored with the Somali realities, working closely with the local leaders, the local community. Most of our work is community-based, and we are involving a lot the population in our approach, and again working very closely with the Somali Red Crescent Society. Having said that, the biggest challenge we have to face in Somalia is to make sure that we do not harm when bringing our assistance and our support to the population, and we are able to minimize or mitigate the security risk.
How do you do that concretely? How do you make sure that your staff is not harmed by a lack of security, that the staff members can carry out their operations safely?
We are working on different aspects. First of all, we are working for many years with a team of very, very experienced field officers, and we are well connected with the Somali stakeholders at all levels. So it's a question of keeping a constant dialogue with all the parties, with all the authorities, to make sure that we remain accepted. The second thing is to make sure that we are also having the good human resources to work in such an environment. And the team in general, be it Somali colleagues or expatriates, they have all a long experience with the ICRC. And then when it comes to acceptability, I think we have to ensure that our neutrality is understood and accepted. And we mean by neutrality, especially in Somalia, that we are out of any political process, and when we are taking side, is only taking side close to the victims.
You mentioned your close cooperation with the communities. Could you give me an example of how that actually works?
When we see displaced population, we discuss with the host communities, we discuss with the local leaders, we try to understand what is the scope of the problematic and what are the most urgent needs. We discuss with the women, we try to involve a lot the women in understanding the problem and then later on in addressing the needs of the population. We work with, we cooperate with the Somali Red Crescent Society. They have good volunteers at branch level throughout the country. And yes, we discuss a lot with the national authorities, with the local authorities, and we try to make sure that everybody understands and then later on agrees on what is the best to be done for this affected population, and that everybody understand and accept what we are doing for them.
Can you give me an estimated figure of how many people you've helped since last year?
In terms of non-food items, we gave for more than 90,000 families since January, and not only in Mogadishu, almost in all the regions of central and southern Somalia. We have been providing food assistance for 3 months for more than 200,000 people. We undertake a water trucking operation, providing more than 10 million liters of potable water around Mogadishu. And of course, we did support extensively hospitals in Mogadishu and in some other area of Somalia, treating more than 3,000 war wounded in Somalia since the beginning of 2007. It's quite a huge number. Just as a comparison, last year in 2006, 2,000 war wounded were treated in the hospitals in central and southern Somalia, supported by the ICRC. And this year, in 6 months' time, over 6 months' time, more than 3,000 were already treated.
Those figures are quite impressive as a result of projects that you're carrying out in a very difficult environment. To end on a positive note, you've been with the ICRC for over 10 years, I believe. You've worked in many different countries, Afghanistan, then in Africa, also in Congo, former Zaire, before you came to Somalia. What makes Somalia special, or can you give us an example of something that you like about your job in Somalia?
I think it's the extraordinary strength and capacity of coping with everything that the Somali have and keep on having. Despite all these difficulties, and really the life is so difficult there, all the Somali population in general keep on having hope for the future. And I think the future of Somalia lies in the hands of the Somali population. As long as they have hope in their future, there is hope.